continuing coverage on the situation at Lime Tree Bay Refinery in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Lime Tree Bay continues to keep operations suspended due to their reported flare incident this past week. Now they, along with numerous agencies, have been meeting with nearby residents and those in the community to assess the impact, I should say. One Caribbean News' Ellie Bourne-Vanek has an update and speaks with the commissioner of DPNR, who shares how they're helping to address the situation and ensure future safety.
Investigations are still ongoing with numerous government agencies as well as Lime Tree Bay addressing the recent flare incident at the refinery. As we've reported, the situation caused heavy odors and oil affecting neighborhoods nearby. The refinery has suspended their operations for now. Lime Tree Bay reports in this press release that they have teams in the area and they're continuing to inspect. They say, quote, investigations have revealed there are scattered impacts to neighborhoods as far as west as a state whim. They're also continuing to advise residents to not consume water from cisterns and say they sincerely apologize for what's happened. As many groups and agencies investigate, I spoke with the commissioner of DPNR who shared how they're addressing the situation.
At this time, the department, along with our partners here locally and also with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, we're working on also our own assessments of the operations and things that we would like to see Lime Tree commit to before restarting their refining processing once again. Prior to the shutdown, the agencies that were collaborating together were the Department of Planning and Natural Resources, VITEMA, the Department of Health, VI's, the VI Fire Service Hazmat Team, as well as the Virgin Islands National Guard civilian support team. And the focus of that operation was really to conduct monitoring activities and trying identifying the source of the odor complaints that we were receiving. We were also logging all of the complaints, creating sort of a geographic profile as to what areas were being most affected. Right now with the shutdown, we're still going to be conducting monitoring activities. We know that the flare incident may take a day or two to actually pass and not have any remnants from that flare incident. And then the department, as well as the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, again, we're just collaborating right now on next steps and ensuring that the residents and the people of the Virgin Islands are safe while the Lime Tree, resumes refining operations.
At this time, officials report that it's difficult to say exactly when things will get better for those who are affected. DPNR's commissioner says with the refinery suspending operations from the incident, this now gives DPNR and other agencies a chance to make things better for the community.
Well, Puerto Rico has an important statehood election with the purpose of electing delegates who will go to Washington and lobby for statehood. But a massive twist happened with the write-in vote. Alanis Quinones has these details.
This weekend, Puerto Rico celebrated a special election that intends to elect 2 delegates for the federal Senate and 4 for the House, who will lobby in favor of statehood in Washington. Although the election had less than a 5% participation, the State Election Commission reported that at least 85% of the citizens voted by the write-in modality, which, confirmed by the New Progressive Party itself, benefited past Governor Ricardo Rosselló, who was forced to resign in 2019 after Puerto Ricans protested massively for more than 10 consecutive days with claims of corruption. He had made himself available a few days before the election after a movement suggested the idea. This is the first time he's back so publicly after those events. Officially, 10 candidates were running, but along with Rosselló, past mayor of San Juan Jorge Santini, a former senator and a former federal monitor of the police bureau, also made themselves available by writing. For this event, the votes are being counted by hand, and although preliminary results are being reported, the process is expected to last a week at most. Reporting from Puerto Rico, Alanis Quinones.
Well, we start today in Puerto Rico, where much of the island's produce is imported. And today, our Alanis Quinones shows us how local farmers are doing what they can to get more people to buy local.
At least 80% of what Puerto Ricans consume on the island is imported, and this is why local farmers are trying to change that with eco-friendly systems and seeds that are organic. An example of this is this farm in Camuy, Puerto Rico called Mi Casa.
It's eco-friendly in the sense that it protects the environment and the quality of the food is better, and it's more sustainable for everyone, since we've technically seen the whole world fall apart because of a lot of pollution and contamination in different areas of the whole world. And with this organic products, it's healthier for everyone, and everyone can benefit from that.
This is Andrea Soto, the 16-year-old granddaughter of Luis Soto, the owner of Mi Casa, a farm that was created about 12 years ago. He's a retired agronomist that used to work in farms that used chemicals. It didn't take him long to change his eating habits and recognize the importance of creating sustainable spaces. Now he's passing on this knowledge to his grandchildren, which are all vegan just like him.
I think people should learn that organic, it's a process with the product of this process is more healthier, more sustainable. It's better for your health and for the whole environment.
Although Soto started producing for personal consumption, Mi Casa Farm now produces for companies like Puerto Rico Produce. They grow multiple vegetables, fruits, and spices like passion fruit, tomatoes, kale, achiote, and sugar canes.
Tú tienes que cuidar la tierra como tú te cuidas.
You have to take care of the land as well as you take care of yourself. This is what Soto describes as one of the key factors to produce quality products that don't get sick often.
En esta finca también nosotros producimos semillas.
If you want to support local farms like this one that grow organic seeds from our lands, you can go to Produce Puerto Rico to purchase their products. Reporting from Camuy, Puerto Rico, Alanis Quiñones.
And there's jubilation and confusion in response to the new CDC guidelines that fully vaccinated individuals no longer need to wear face masks in most indoor and outdoor settings. And in the U.S. Virgin Islands, Government House isn't alone when it comes to grappling with how to best act on this new information. Reporter Ali Bornvanek has more on what the U.S. territory's plan is in response to the CDC's new eased guidelines.
Emily, Governor Bryan announced that the U.S. Virgin Islands is holding its ground when it comes to its mask mandate, even though the CDC has lightened its recommendations for those who are fully vaccinated. Governor Bryan said from a people and population standpoint that it's hard to enforce who can wear the mask and who can't wear the mask in connection with who is vaccinated and who is not fully vaccinated. Governor Bryan said that the territory has seen results when it comes to wearing the mask, and so it is better to be safe than sorry and to stay as safe as possible.
While we have followed the CDC's recommendations and guidelines throughout our response, we are approaching this latest decision with a heightened level of precaution. Simply put, the CDC has not really provided clear guidance to states, local governments, and individual townships on how we make a visible distinction between the people who are vaccinated and those people who are not. It is an impossible mandate to enforce. Do we ask everyone not wearing a mask to prove they are vaccinated and vice versa? That is an unreasonable expectation for any government to be able to enforce. Removing the masking requirements and simply relying on the honor policy at this point is not something we think will protect our community against the spread of the virus. We cannot afford to take any steps backward on our path to normalcy. We have to maintain doing the things that we know work in order to enjoy the benefits of that. The freedom of movement, the availability of tourists, economic progress, the continuation of our recovery. All those things are tied to us doing what it needs to keep you and your family safe.
Governor Bryan also announced that when it comes to in-person graduations, which are already going on, he said that he and the Department of Education are going to ensure that every graduating student is able to walk the stage and have that moment with their family and friends, and they will do that through drive-through graduations and social distancing.
Well, great news out of St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. If you're having difficulty finding those gourmet specialty items for dining and other special occasions, look no further. A local businessman on the street is offering those hard-to-find products from all over the world. Reporter Ellie Bourne-Vanek has the details.
Just inside Artistic Jewelers on Main Street, a new gourmet boutique is taking off.
We have just opened a few weeks ago, and this all started during COVID, and we wanted to do something different, to have something unique on Main Street, mostly for tourists coming down, as well our local clientele. It's every time it's just jewelry, it's the same thing over and over. So we did a lot of research and came up with something unique, and that's how we've gotten to our luxury wine and gourmet boutique.
It's called 88 Bottles and offers numerous specialty items like infused rosemary almonds or truffle balsamic. The selection is uniquely curated, and some items can't be found anywhere else.
The highlight we have is our truffle products. As we all know, St. Thomas is very weak in truffle, and we have partnered in with the company directly from Italy. So we are doing a lot of truffle oil, truffle cheese, truffle chips. Our highlight is going to be our boozy jams. They are mostly for brunch. They're great size, and they're infused also with different kind of alcohol like champagne, margarita, tequila.
88 Bottles is something that St. Thomas doesn't have, has never had before. So with the luxury, gourmet, this is the health and wellness line of 88 Bottles. The beauty on these products, on the scrubs and on the protection salts, is that they are all natural. They have no preservatives in them at all. They are literally made with all edible oils. Don't eat them, but because it's solely for body use. But it is fragranced with therapeutic grade essential oils.
What has been the feedback from your customers?
They love it. They love it. I love it. And you get a crystal to keep in it, which people love.
From protection salts and body scrubs to Chardonnay olives, the team at 88 Bottles says these are the perfect items for a special event or occasion. This bottle was a bestseller for this past Mother's Day.
We're going to have wine that you cannot find anywhere in the country. If you want to get someone a fun wine, red wine, white wine, champagne, we offer these boxes. You can have happy anniversary, happy graduation, happy birthday, and we can even do their name or a nice personal message on the side. We also do the engraving on the bottles, and as you know, Mother's Day just recently passed, so number one mom is one of the bottles we did. This actually could last all year round. Moms are number one all year round, but we can really put anything on here, just a name or a message, so really something for everyone.
We've had a great feedback. We are so grateful for local support because, you know, with the island right now not having a lot of not having cruise ships, and the tourists are limited, but our local clientele has been unbelievably supportive. They've come even for Mother's Day baskets and putting things together. The Tulanda products have had a fantastic feedback. I'm very pleased.
Great response between both the communities, between the tourism and our locals. Everybody has been very excited about this, and just coming back. Actually, we already had several customers came back the second time to pick up more product, and especially our wines also. So it's been very, very exciting for us.
In St. Thomas, Ali Bourne-Vanek, USVI News.
And the problem of abandoned animals on the streets of Puerto Rico was magnified by the pandemic, but nonprofit organizations launched a campaign for citizens to help educate them on the topic. And Orlanes Quinones brings us this next story.
Statistics show that at least 2,500 animals are abandoned in our streets right now, and this is why organizations are in the middle of campaigning with the purpose of creating awareness and educating about adoption and sterilization.
The United for a Cause Foundation was an organization that was created in 2014, and our main purpose is to create events to support many other nonprofit foundations that usually do charities and like kindness acts. And our main goal or main purpose has been mostly, although we have worked with different charities, is to work with animal well-being.
Protect, adopt, and spay are the main goals of this campaign. And as part of their events, they are doing a call for donations. Although they mostly need dog and cat food, which tend to be the most expensive articles to get, towels, cleaning products, or anything you might consider necessary is also welcomed. But where can you take them?
And we will be ending the campaign by the end of May with food drives in different McDonald's that have already been set for that. Each McDonald's we have assigned an organization that will be getting all that is recollected in that McDonald's will be donated to that organization.
Save a Gato is one of the 10 organizations from this campaign. Their main goal is to control the overpopulation of cats in the Old San Juan area.
To this day, since its creation, we've managed to control over 50% of the cat population here, especially in the area of Paseo del Morro, Paseo de las Princesas. Many people know it. And since then, we started as a TNR program, which stands for Trap, Neuter, Return, which is we trap the cats, we spay, neuter them, we vaccinate them, we provide any medications they need, and if they are feral, meaning they're wild, they are returned to that colony and we care for them until they pass.
If they consider the cat to be friendly, they now have an adoption program in which the cats are taken care of in their headquarters until they are transferred to their partners Petco and PetSmart. But for this, volunteers are always necessary because, like in many other cases, the pandemic has made it worse.
For us as an organization, we believe it's gotten worse, especially here in Puerto Rico with cats. Sadly, cats are not a very understood animal here in Puerto Rico, and that's one of our main goals also, to educate people on how to care for them, how to respect how they are, because they're not dogs, they're cats.
It is important to understand that most of these organizations already have tons of animals they need to take care of. This is why instead of going to your house and take the animals, their main goal is to educate and teach citizens how to deal with the overpopulation in their communities by, for example, economic sterilization options. If you want to donate, contribute, or be a volunteer, you can go to their social media for more information. Reporting from Puerto Rico, Alanis Quiñones.
Well, it's crucial for islands throughout the Caribbean region to be prepared in case of an emergency disaster. And that's just what's happening in the Turks and Caicos as they unveil a new, different kind of medical facility. Our Deandra Hamilton has more on the $2,000 portable hospital.
Turks and Caicos is among the few in the region with a field hospital, and it will tremendously improve capacity in any mass casualty or emergency event. The commissioning of the inflatable hospital at the downtown ballpark was attended by government dignitaries who had only beaming reviews of the commendable achievement.
I would like to thank everyone who was involved with this, but particularly Ms. Higgs for making this happen. Now,
and this hospital today helps us to be able to improve our capacity to be prepared should there be a disaster.
But secondly, of course, it was set up this morning by the regiment that was founded during this pandemic.
Charlene Higgs has a background in mitigation. As a director in the Ministry of Health, she was hailed as leading the way in securing the hospital.
We are doing all that we can to ensure that we will be able to manage and keep TCI as safe as we possibly can. This is just the first step. As I mentioned, I'm a bit very ambitious, and now that I finally got to have this unit, I am looking to see more of this nature throughout the Turks and Caicos Islands.
An investment of roughly $200,000, and the goal is to secure 2 more for remote communities like South Caicos in the TCI.
Just shy of 2 weeks ago, I said to her, I want estimates for a step-down facility for the island of North and Middle Caicos and South Caicos, so that in the event this unit has to be deployed to Grand Turk or be used here and the other islands need assistance, we would have something in place.
The field hospital was in 30 minutes erected by the TCI regiment. It can be stationed anywhere in the country and welcomed a tour of officials following the ribbon cutting.
Well, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, has warned countries against relaxing protocols for anyone traveling to the Caribbean, whether they're vaccinated or not. Now, several Caribbean governments have relaxed protocols for fully vaccinated people entering their territories. And although such individuals are still required to arrive with a negative PCR test, their quarantine period has been reduced. Speaking at the organization's weekly briefing on Wednesday, the 19th, the Director of Health Emergencies said that the World Health Organization and PAHO did not agree with relaxing measures since people who are fully vaccinated can contract and spread the virus.
Vaccine does not protect from getting infected, although there are increased evidence that that is the case in a significant proportion of persons who get vaccinated. Still, of course, there are many people that will still get infected, and by reducing the protective measures of the persons who get vaccinated, of course, there is an increased probability and risk of getting infected and passing the disease to others that have not get vaccinated yet. So in that regard, the WHO and PAHO do not recommend to change the entry requirements for the people who got vaccinated.
Well, there's a new executive order in Puerto Rico, including eliminating the current curfew, along with other changes. And our Elias Quiñones brings us more.
Importancia de mantenernos vigilantes ante el virus.
After more than a year with curfew limitations, Governor Pedro Pierluisi eliminated entirely as part of the new executive order established. But this was not the only measure modified. Although the use of face masks continue in most scenarios, beaches, parks, and to exercise will be the exceptions. Also, the stage of the Miguel Agrelot Coliseum, better known as the Choliseo, will light up again with a 30% capacity, which represents about 40,000 citizens. Attendees will be required to present a negative PCR test, with the exception of inoculated citizens. The first concert is scheduled to happen this summer, though experts point out that this would mostly benefit artists that live in the island, because otherwise it wouldn't be economically worth it. The airport was also mentioned. Although this will not apply to international traveling, domestic travelers will not be required to have a PCR test. Shopping centers can now operate at a 50% capacity while bars remain closed. This order will run for 2 weeks until Sunday, June 6th. Reporting from Puerto Rico, Alanis Quiñones.
Well, as we first reported Thursday, scientists with NOAA are sending out a warning. Their annual forecast predicting an above-average hurricane season this year with as many as 5 major storms. Now, the official hurricane season begins June 1st, but there is already a disturbance in the Atlantic, which could be a named storm in the next week or so. And our One Caribbean Weather's John Stalin first let us know what to expect. Now he brings us more.
With memories and the mess of last year's historic season lingering, we're learning what the 2021 hurricane season could look like.
We're seeing more storms, we're seeing more intense storms.
Scientists with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicting above-average activity, with up to 20 named storms over the next 6 months or so. 6 to 10 of those storms could reach hurricane status, with as many as 5 major hurricanes, Category 3 or higher.
Typically during high activity eras and above normal seasons, we do see more storms that get closer to the U.S. And have more landfalls.
The warning comes on the heels of what was the most active hurricane season on record. 30 named storms, 12 making landfall in the U.S., the most ever. 6 designated as hurricanes, that's twice as many as normal. And this year, things could get started early. Right now, there's a system in the Atlantic with the possibility of producing a named storm in the next few days. If that happens, it will be the 7th consecutive year with a named storm before the official June 1st start of hurricane season.